Hello and welcome to my studio. I'm Jessie and this is the Knit Up and Dye podcast, episode 80, Grateful for the Little Things. As always, I'm going to start out with my special thank yous. I have a special thank you going out to all of my subscribers, new and ongoing. What you see here is about you. And the feedback that I get from you, the messages that I get from you mean everything to me. And I will always try to present things that you're interested in seeing or hearing about. I love you guys. Hello and welcome go out to Mary, Cindy, Ravi, Dresden Dolls, Veronica, and Steve. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for adding me to your lives. Special love and thanks go out to Faye, Julia, Janelle, Adriana, Wayne, Sonia, Patricia, Lisalete, Capi, Kath, Bente, Christy, Neetsey, Charlotte, Chris, Roseanne, Linda, Marie, Eve, David, Donna, Betty Ann, Scott and John, Carolyn, Kate, and Terry over at Unwound, Bex, Nancy, and Rachel. My love goes out to my Zoom family. Hi guys, you are wonderful. Thank you. Love goes out to Robert, Roz, Paula, Brian, Jen, Elizabeth, Nicole M, Nicole B, Katie, Shirley, Tracy, and Georgianne. I'll be back to see you soon, I promise. Special thanks go out to my fellow podcasters, Scott and John over at Sweet Tea No Shade. Boys, I love you. I can't wait to see you. Leanne at Southern Colonial Dyeworks. Girl. Daniel and Patrick at Daniel and Patrick Craziness. Go give these kids some love. They're going to rule the universe if we don't rein them in. They have a subscriber goal this year. They're trying to double their subscribers during the school year. And I'm so proud of their efforts and the stuff that they do. They're very creative. A warm hello and much love goes out to my patrons. You honor me. Thank you. Oh, so grateful for little things. I haven't podcasted in 2 weeks now. Last weekend, the dye ran away with the weekend. I was dyeing yarn in preparation for my trunk show in September up at Unwound in La Crosse, Wisconsin. And like I'd start work and I'd look up and it would be 7:30 at night. Everything just, you know, when you get so involved that all of a sudden time has gone by so fast and everything that you thought you wanted to do, there's no opportunity. And I had really hoped that I was going to be able to podcast and there just wasn't time. So I'm here today. And this past week has been unbelievably challenging in ways that I could not have foreseen. There has been, why did I name this Grateful for Little Things? Because in the end, all of the challenges that I had this past week were actually small things that at the time I was facing them were monstrous. They were so huge that it didn't look like there was a way around these mountains. And the reality was they were mole hills. What am I talking about? Well, let's just dig in, shall we? This past week, I was sitting on the sofa catching up on my Instagram. It was late in the evening. We were preparing to go to bed. And my husband had gone and he'd gotten into the shower. And all of a sudden, I heard this ear-splitting crack in my house. It sounded like somebody had taken a yardstick and full-on swing slapped it on a wood table. Bang! Scared me half to death. Was so loud, my husband, in the shower, way on the other end of the house, stopped everything and came out. What was that? No idea. No idea. We looked around inside, we looked around outside, nothing had fallen, nothing had broken, nothing seemed wrong. It was just, bring your heart rate down, and if we can't find a problem, there must not be a problem, right? Went to bed. Had some nightmares. That weird second mind thing working where I was trapped. I was in my car and I was in this dark space, but it wasn't like a garage. And I could not see to get my car into the right gear. And I knew I had to go forward, but I couldn't. I thought I was in reverse and I couldn't. And I'm waking up from this chest tight, crazy stress. Oh my goodness, 2 a.m. And all of a sudden it occurs to me, I know what that sound was, and this is bad. Big bad, ugly bad, horrible bad, panic bad. The day before, I'd gotten my water bill, and my water bill was almost double what it normally is. And we have been aware that there's been this banging in the pipes every time the garden is on an auto timer, and it would shut off and there'd be a bang and then there'd be a second bang behind that. We didn't know what that was. But of course, we're in an older home and the suspicion is there's a problem with the pipes, and we're on a slab construction, so that means the pipes are under the slab. All of a sudden in the middle of the night I woke up, I knew the pipe had burst under the slab. The panic, the fear of expense, the fear of demolition, the fear of damage to my home, the fear of mold and mildew, expense. Your head just goes right into, there's no moderation with that kind of panic. And at 2:30 in the morning, I'm sitting in my darkened living room on my cell phone, Googling, trying to figure out how to diagnose the problem and sorting out that I can look at the water meter. And if we don't have any water running in the house, I look at it, and then like 2 hours later, I look at it again. And if there's been any shift, we know we have a leak, and which water authorities to call, and what kind of expenses this is, and what does homeowners do about this. Panic attacks. My chest was... Managed to go back to bed because you can't do anything about it at 2:30 in the morning. And my husband, of course, had woken up at that point and said, "What's wrong? Are you okay?" And I said, "I think I know what that sound was. It was this." And bless him, he always puts everything into perspective. He says, "Well, can't fix that right now." And boom, he's right back asleep. I don't know how he does it. I'm the warrior. Managed to fall back asleep, got up a little bit late the next morning, didn't have time to address anything, had to go to work. Went to work, came home, looked at the water meter, figured out, we can do a reading, went into the house. I had in my head a couple of ideas of other things that could have fallen down, something in my studio could have fallen, and I was running around looking to see, please diagnose, something else made this sound. And had gone and looked in the pantry, just a closet. And I'm standing there looking at it, trying to see, did something fall? Did something burn? What's going on here? And my husband came up behind me, and all of a sudden his arm shoots out over my shoulder, pointing into the pantry. And he says, "There it is." I looked, and there it was. Thank you. There was a couple of old cans of pineapples that had aged. Yes, I need to rotate my stock better, and believe it, I have cleaned that pantry. And they had burst. I turned around, I planted the biggest kiss on that man he has ever received. I was so grateful. I had friends who had told me this had happened to their mother, and the house expense and repair and everything, and the people numbers ranged from $5,000 to $80,000 and house demolition, and it was 2 cans of pineapple. Never been so happy to waste food before in my whole life. Never been so grateful for a botulism explosion. Never been so happy to clean. I was so grateful that this was so minor, that this was so not a problem. I was joyful. I'm still joyful over it. You could see the relief, I'm sure. I really was just like, I expected to come home and find a sinkhole in the middle of my living room. I really was in a panic over this whole thing, and so concerned. The reality of the water bill, and we knew this. We had a problem with the timer that waters the garden twice a day, and it had watered the garden all one day, and so it had used a couple thousand gallons that it shouldn't have, and of course, I'm dyeing much more actively, and water is involved in that, and so there was higher demand there too. And the billing system works in units, and so if you're 1 gallon into the next unit, bang, there your bill goes up 1,000 units. And so never been so grateful for little things. And then Thursday night I left work very happy that these things were small, that I didn't have these problems, counting my blessings of I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this, my life is good. And halfway home, we were rear-ended. I'm okay, John's okay, the car is okay. I'm sore, I'm tired, I'm frustrated. Angry would be a good word. I'm angry at the other driver. Character is important. Being honest, even if it's a detriment to you, is important. This person was not of good character. I'm going to leave it there. They simply were not a good person. And presented false testimony to the police officer, and the end result of the evening was, from halfway home, I ended up being transported back by ambulance to the hospital that I work at for checks. Again, I'm okay, I'm just sore. And I didn't make it home that evening until 11:15. I lost time. I lost heart in the public. I lost heart in my police force. It wasn't handled well. I gained faith in my EMT services, in my emergency room services, in the people that I work with. In the end, it's small, it's minor. We're all okay, the cars are okay. Everybody walked away from this. But it did take a chunk of time out of my world, and it has really taken a chunk of energy out of me. I slept almost all day yesterday, just rebuilding from the stress of this week, just rebuilding from the heartbreak and from the fatigue and from the soreness of all this. And in the end, I am so grateful. I'm so grateful. No airbags deployed. Nobody got burned, nobody got cut, nobody got broken. Both cars are still viable. I don't have any expenses. Car accidents can be so much worse than what I experienced. And if this is it, if this is all that I had to suffer, thank you. I'm happy. Please. There is never a good time as a driver to be using your cell phone. Please don't. We got away lucky. We got away with nothing. And even the cop admits we got lucky. Because that 2 seconds that you look down at your phone, you've traveled 50 feet, 100 feet, depends on your speed. And although I was stopped dead in front of this person, they looked down and they didn't know it. It could have been a lot worse. Pull over, have somebody else look at it, wait for that phone call. The person that you're speaking to will be so much more grateful to finish the conversation pleasantly than to finish it hearing sirens. That's my PSA. I'm grateful for the little things. So, all of real life nonsense tucked aside, let's talk about knitting, shall we? That's why you're here, right? I'm really grateful that I get to talk about knitting today, and I don't have to talk about how am I going to afford the homeowners, and I'm really sick of stepping around the sinkhole in my living room. Knitting progress. I've made some progress this week, and I'm really excited about it. I finished, and I think I showed you guys, the Barn Dance shawl, the 3-color version of the farmhouse shawl. We did photography this morning. Finally, we had meant to do it last weekend. Time got away from us. We got the photography all done. I'm so happy with this. I'm so glad that I did this and that I did a 3-color version, because it is beautiful. And I'm going to wear this to death. It's just beautiful. I couldn't be happier with it. The pattern, the images need to be edited. I need to get it out to my test knitters. I am behind. Unfortunately, some other things took priority. I can't make up for time. I wish I could. I can only apologize, and we'll get there. I also worked this past week. I had everything set aside so that I could reach it easily for you. I worked on my acrylic socks this past week, and I've made really good progress on them. I'm up on the leg. I'm doing these toe up. I've done a reverse French heel, which is a heel flap heel. I prefer a heel flap heel, so that you knit the foot and then you build a gusset with increases, and then you do a short row kind of extension of the heel, and then you pick up on either side from where you did the short row, and you build the heel flap while knitting together in the gusset stitches, and then join back in the round and do the leg. Doesn't the leg look funny? I did it in a 2x2 rib, so I look like I have monster duck feet. That's just ridiculous. I didn't realize how silly that looked. What is the yarn? The yarn is Premier Yarns Wool-Free Sock. It is 93% acrylic, 7% BPT. I have no idea what BPT is. Not a clue. 50 grams, 235 yards. This colorway is called 4 Meadows. And it has browns and purples and oranges and greens in it. It's very pretty. It is a self-striping. Hold that up. I hope that that's showing in the right direction for you guys. I bought this online. I'm not sure where I got it from. I honestly don't remember. It was either I Love Knitting or Jimmy Bean Wools. I honestly don't remember. I might have gotten it from Joanne. I think I got it from joanne.com. But I specifically chose an acrylic sock weight yarn to make socks with for the experience. I had never knit acrylic socks before, and I wanted the experience. So far, I'm very happy with it. The yarn is squishy. It has a lot of bounce and rebound to it. It has multi plies, thank you, that are all twisted together, and because of that, it's got a really nice bounce to it. I'm sorry, I'm unspinning it to see if I can see how many plies. I really can't tell. There's a lot. It's soft. It's got a nice hand. It doesn't have that funny squeakiness that you can get from acrylic. It has a little bit of a brush up halo that happens if you brush it too much, which no big deal. But very nice overall. I'm liking the feel of this. I was concerned that I was going to be bothered by it. It's slicker than working with wool. The hand is very silky, very smooth, and therefore, with my 9-inch circular needles, which have metal tips, I'm working with slippery on slippery. And I have dropped stitches a couple times, and they have run back a couple times. Nothing serious, couple rows, easy to bring back up. But I am more mindful now that it is slick, and I do have to be aware of that working with it. My one about working with this yarn, and it's gonna happen with any commercially wound yarn. I'm doing a center pull from the skein, and you reach in the middle and you pull out, and you get you get the yarn barf, and you wind that back on, and you pretty well assume that once you get that center pull started and the yarn barf is, you get that first one and you twist it back up, no big deal, that you're done with the yarn barf. This thing has been a bulimic. It is awful. Every time I pull a lead out, I get another big yarn barb. I need ultimately, oh good Lord, ultimately it would behoove me. This is madness. No, this is not staged. I couldn't have planned this if I tried. Ultimately, if I were smart, if I wanted to control this, I would start with this outside pull here, and I would wind back from the outside to the inside so that I could continue working. Honestly, I'm so close to the end of this sock, I'm probably not going to bother. But now that I've pulled this out of my knitting bag, maybe I should, because, oh my goodness. It's one of those things that it's irritating for 30 seconds and then you move past it. It doesn't really matter. It just keeps happening. It just keeps, and I'm not sure if that's about how they wind their skeins, if it's about a cling that's happening inside, a static that's happening inside, or if it's just me and how I'm doing it, or how it's squished in here. I have no idea. But this has been the one thing that has been irksome in this project. Otherwise, I'm very happy. I think they're pretty. I like them. They're soft. They seem breathable. I did put this on for a little while the other night and just sit while I was watching TV. My impression was that they might not breathe so well. They're very, there's an air whipped into this in how it's plied that seems to make it quite breathable. I will have to finish them and wear them and really give a good report on them. The colors are vibrant. They're very pretty. I think that my overall cost was well under $3 a skein. So three and a half, somewhere in there. I will have to look that up for you as well. But ultimately I should end up with a pair of socks for about half the cost of an indie ball of hand-dyed yarn. We'll see how they wear. We'll see how they hold up. So far so good. So far so good. So those are my unnamed acrylic socks. I need to give them a name. I need to... There's a page on Ravelry. I have a project page. I just haven't been good about filling out any information. I haven't been good about doing anything lately. I feel like I'm behind. I feel like my shoelace is caught in the treadmill. And if it's only my shoelace, I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I'm not going to invite trouble. So barn dance is done. The photography got done today. The acrylic socks, I am more than 3/4 of the way through the first sock. Everything else is in timeout. I haven't really had much knitting time. I had my vacation the week before last, and I got back to work and had to hit the ground running because I've got my trunk show coming up, so I've got to catch up on my vacation time and then try to get ahead before I leave again. Whew. Crazy. The barn dance shawl was part of the design along. Yes, we'll bring it back. In which I did my farmhouse shawl. It was motivation to finally get this one done. And then I bonus worked and I did the barn dance shawl. And the design along officially ended yesterday. And I'm so excited. You guys made me so proud. I have beautiful entries from you folks. Really, really gorgeous. And now it's in your hands. We have a voting thread and it is specifically marked as the design along voting. Please pop on over to the Knit Up and Dye group and vote. We have 2 categories for prizes. We have the favorite, whatever your favorite is. Generally when I think of my favorite, when I look at them, it's the, oh, I wish I had designed that. And then we also have the most knittable category. Which one are you most likely to knit? Which one would you like to knit? We're also going to do a third, which is a random drawing. I'm just going to take the 2 winners out of that and I'm going to randomly draw for a third one. We have prizes. I have prizes all packed up here that I showed you on the last episode and they're buried. I'm sorry, my studio is, I made it look nice here. The rest of it looks like a hurricane. It's a mess. I'm in preparation for trunk show. I just look past It's all good. But pack 1 is a drawstring bag, yarn from Rosalee Millet of Yarn Matrix, stitch markers from Neetsey's Porch, a progress keeper from Capi over at the Yarn and I, thank you, and a collection of some coloring postcards, really, really cute. Pack number 2 is a blue floral zip bag by Faye. Yarn also from Rosalee at Yarn Matrix, some stitch markers again from Neetsey's Porch, another forgive me, progress keeper by Capi's mom Marcia over at the Yarn and I, and it's a little namaste hand and an elephant, and then a pattern of choice courtesy of Carmen Newland over at Simple Homestead Designs. You guys honor me. Thank you so much for your donations of prizes. I know a lot of people are really excited at the opportunity to win these, and really every prize that goes out is fantastic. I wish I could keep it all. There will be a third secret conglomerate for that random drawing. That'll be equally as awesome. It'll have just as much in it. There will be, there's no first, second, or third. There is favorite, most knittable, and a random. And I'm so proud to have the opportunity to send these out. We had, I believe, 14 entries. I could be wrong. I just did the voting thread, and there was a lot of tech editing, and it was really horrible to get everything to line up. If you have any difficulty voting, please let me know, and simply let me know which your vote is. If in fact you can't get it to work, let me know, and I will go in there and I will battle out the HTML one more time. We have our Knit Together community mixer. That registration has closed, and tomorrow I'm dyeing yarns for that. Everybody told me what their favorites were so far as what color they love, and now I'm going to dye up some pairs kind of with you guys in mind. I have to be careful because I don't want to go, she likes pink and she likes pink, so I'm going to do pink, and otherwise wouldn't I have just paired you two up? Ultimately, the power is still in your hands. I'm going to have a variety of pairs of yarns, and I will be emailing you directly when the shop is open, when the area is open for you guys to go and buy your yarn from. You'll each have the opportunity to buy one skein from a pair, and we're going to trade out your information, and you get to meet your new best knitting friend. Very excited about this. I did have a couple of you ask. I'm sorry, I am behind. I did close out that registration, but now it's time to dye your yarns up. The ornament exchange also closed. If you missed it, contact me. I am not opposed to letting you sneak in under the wire. I know that we did this very, very early. Here we are, beginning of September, and I'm talking Christmas. The ornament exchange is make 6, get 6. So you're going to make 6 ornaments. You're going to ship them to me. I'm going to jump them all around so that everybody gets an assortment, and I'm going to send them back to you with some extra goodies. This is a US only exchange this year. Next year we'll open it up worldwide. I am very excited about this. I've already received some of the ornaments. They're beautiful. I'm very, very proud. I'm behind. I have not knit my ornaments yet. In fact, I've started twice. I've changed directions. I've changed patterns. I've learned some new techniques to do. I even tried double knitting. I have an idea of the direction I want to go in, but right now my focus is just not there, and I've got time, so do you. I have plenty of time before the deadline to get those in. If you have any questions about it, if you're late and you're just meeting me and you want to get in on this, contact me. We can make that happen. So I said I was getting ready for my trunk show. I'm getting ready for a trunk show. I am so excited about this. A number of you have reached out to me and told me that you're going to try to be there. Yes, I can't wait. I love meeting you guys in person. Certainly, if you can't make it, boy, I understand. I understand. It takes a lot of organization to be someplace at a certain time. So what's it going to be? What's going to happen? We're going to have a Q&A on Friday the 21st from 4 to 6 p.m. It's going to be basically like a hangout knit night and grill the monkey. Ask me questions, have some snacks, knit, put me on the spot, ask me tough questions about dyeing and design and whatever you want. I would love to meet you. Come on into the shop, Unwound in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Sunday the 23rd from 10 a.m. until noon. Join us for brunch over at Java Vino. We went last year. It was fabulous. They have bottomless mugs in fabulous coffee flavors. I think I had sticky cinnamon bun. I could have spent my whole day just sitting there sipping that. That was so good. Beautiful, beautiful menu, wonderful environment. We had so much fun. RSVP through Unwound. I believe you can do it by phone or through their Facebook page. We do have limited spaces, but we need to get a head count because I made swag bags. I love making swag bags. I love setting up little gifts for everybody I get to meet. I've got those swag bags prepped and ready, but we need that head count, so please get a hold of them. Last year we had so many interesting conversations around the table. We even had some colorways be born of that. I'm going to show you one. It's an exclusive to the shop, but the whole colorway, the whole inspiration of it came from the brunch that we had at the trunk show last year. It's called Rubber Ducky Seance. I wouldn't call it a grello. There's gray, there's yellow, but there's black and there's bright gold rubber ducky yellow and there's orange bits from his bill. And I love this colorway. And this was really inspired by that brunch and the people I talked to and the weird conversations we had about how we come up with names and colorways and everything. And I can't wait to see what comes out of this year's brunch. Finally, after the brunch, back at the shop from 1 until 3 on Sunday the 23rd, join me for a sock blank dyeing class. So much fun. We're going to have limited space there as well, so you'll want to contact the shop to register. We're going to dye a sock yarn blank using primary colors. We're going to talk about all kinds of different things, blending the colors, getting a variety of effects from self-striping, stenciling, fading, gradient techniques, everything. And then you're going to make your own masterpiece in class and you're going to be able to take that home. I do want to be absolutely sure that if you're planning on coming to my class, you understand that you are wearing comfortable clothing, that if it gets messy, it's not a problem. I will be at my professional best in something wonderfully stained, I promise. So, can you tell I'm excited about that? I'm so excited about that. It's very potential, very, very strong potential that I may be able to meet up with some other people outside of the shop during my little trip. You'll hear more about that later. If in fact that comes to fruition, I'm very excited about that. Other podcasters, some other knitters that unfortunately won't make it to the shop but will be along my traveling is likely to happen. And if there's filming opportunities there, if there's an opportunity to share that experience, I will definitely share that experience with you guys because I love meeting people. All right, anybody spy the yarn in today's screen? It's a Patreon week. Yeah. Thank you so much to my Patreons. If you don't know about my Patreon page, let me tell you very briefly about it. It's basically a membership. It's a support system where every month you make a donation to me. That donation goes into better sound, better lighting. That donation goes into my ability to buy the equipment I need in order to continue to produce this podcast, as well as to produce tutorials. I published tutorials last week. I forgot about that. I did accomplish something last weekend. And do some other exclusive content for my patrons. It's coming. I'm behind on everything. You should see the list on my desk. But it supports this whole program, and it's vital. It means the world to me. It's so much more than money. It's everything. It's really everything, and I am so grateful for it. I'm so grateful for it that I make sure you get back for it. There are benefits at every level. Many of the levels are drawing levels, so if you're at that level, I do a random drawing once a month for a prize. And the prize is a pre-prescribed prize, patterns, yarn, you name it. And then I have one level that's a subscription level that for about the cost of a sock club, you get yarn every month as well as a discount in my shop. So this is this month's yarn. I love it. I think it's beautiful. It does not in any way resemble any yarn that I have had in previous months. However, I had a panic over this month. I dyed this last weekend for you guys, and I was very excited about it. I had received in my email a request for a colorway, and in playing with that colorway and developing that colorway as an exclusive item for the requester, I stumbled on this, and I decided to make this up for you guys. And I was really excited about it, and then I was sitting on my sofa Friday night, I think it was Friday night, and I was flipping through my Instagram, and I came across another indie dyer who I'm very supportive of, who made the exact same colorway, surely by coincidence. And I really struggled with that. I was so concerned that when I showed you guys this yarn, she would see it and she would think that I had tried to imitate or copy her colorway. Oddly enough, we even named them very, very similarly. Clearly, great minds think alike. And after spending hours really agonizing over this and considering putting this on a shelf and dyeing new yarn for you and not being able to show you yarn this week, I reached out to her. My husband, God bless him, he said, just talk to her. She doesn't know, go tell her. And I reached out to her and I said, here's your yarn and it's beautiful, and here's the yarn I dyed last week and it's almost identical. And bless her, she came right back with great minds. What a coincidence. This is Patreon only. It is exclusive to my patrons only. It will not be available in my shop. I do not ever wish to compete with any indie dyer that I am supporting. Her work is beautiful. I'm not going to talk about it. If you want to go find her, go find her. But I don't ever want anyone to think that we steal from each other or that we try to imitate each other. Ultimately, when you're standing in your kitchen and you have boiling water hanging out all over the place, you're not... I pray that we're all better than this. Nobody's sitting there on Instagram looking at somebody else's yarn going, okay, I think she used this method and I'm pretty sure she used these colors, and we're sitting there and trying to reformulate. I pray that doesn't happen. I don't think it happens. I'm a better person than that. I wouldn't try to do that. I know that if I tried to do that, it would be a horrific mess. I would never even come close. Sheer coincidence that we came up with the same colorway. And they're not exact, but it was so close that it really, I felt bad. So, the exclusive colorway this month for our patrons is this colorway. And I need to draw some names to find out which of the random number, the random prize people are going to get this. Let's go ahead and do that now. And thank you for your understanding. Coincidences happen. Ultimately, there are only so many colors to work with. I have my list. Let's do some random number generating. The first group is my benefactor level. One random benefactor receives a special knitting gift inclusive of yarn, pattern, and more. Let's see who I've got here. I have 4 people in that level, so I'm going to put my random generator up here. 1 through 4, hit generate. My winner is Betty Ann. Betty Ann hasn't won in a while. Yay, that's very exciting. Betty Ann, you've got yarn coming to you. I hope you love this colorway. My next level is my partner level. One random partner level patron will receive both a skein of yarn and a pattern of their choosing. I'm going to send them a coupon code so they can choose any pattern from my shop. Again, this is a 4-person level. You got a 25% chance of winning. My random winner is number 3, and that's Capi. Capi, you've got yarn coming out to you. My next level is my contributor level. My contributor level has 6 patrons in it. The contributor level receives a skein of yarn, and we have 1 through 6. Back that off. Number 4. Number 4 is Nancy. Nancy has wanted to win quite a bit, and she has expressed her disappointment each month as she didn't get drawn. This is her first win, and I know she's going to be very, very excited about it. That's it for my random numbers this month. I've gotten some wonderful mail from you guys over the past 2 weeks, and I'm so sorry I have not had the opportunity to get back to you. It doesn't mean I don't love you, it just means I'm busy. Please, if you feel like I've missed your message, feel free to send it again, or just send me a, hey, did you get it? Every once in a while things glitch up and I don't get messages, but ultimately everything's trapped in my computer and I will be responding to everybody as quickly as I can. I'm trying to do catch up today. I had a number of wonderful questions and suggestions for some upcoming podcasts. That's going to happen. We're going to get back in the kitchen. We're going to do some more dye demonstrations. We're also going to do some more tutorials coming up soon. I have another design I'm working on. I showed you guys a little bit about it. It's a worsted weight shawl. Really nice and big and warm and cozy, and I'm excited to get that going. But right now, I have to focus on getting ready for my trunk show, because showing up without yarn would be very, very bad. That's it. That's everything I have for you this week. Please be grateful that things are not worse when they are bad. Please be grateful for all that is good. Please be forgiving. Be forgiving. It's hard to do sometimes, but when something bad happens, turn, take a deep breath, and let it all go. Carrying a mountain with you is heavy work. I love you. I will see you all next week. Bye.